Guys, so what we have today is we're going to change the filter on our VTEC solenoid. And if you look in the front of the car, right back here, you'll see that this little cap needs to come out. First thing we're going to do though is down there on the pulley, this pulley right here, we're going to take a 14. I'm going to get on the pulley. We're on the pulley. And we're going to pull back towards us, and we're going to take this serpentine belt off. Well, we're going to go in there with this. I'm going to use this as a little leverage, so I'm just going to hook it on. When I'm in there, I can. So I'm going to hook this on first. Then come in here, get my leverage. We're just going to take this belt off. Got the belt off. We're just going to pull it to the side. And that's that. It's the first step. Voila. Okay, so I'm going to take this bolt off to get this power steering pump off. There's one bolt right here. There's one bolt right underneath this pulley. It's right here. They're number 12s. Break it loose. I can just take this thing out of this little. Took it out. We're just going to set it over here out of the way for now. Now you have this bolt, one in here, and there's one behind here. I'm just going to take this pulley off. I'm going to put this in here, pull it, okay? Just use this leverage, try to keep my hand here and break it loose. There we go, it's loose. Keep your hand on this nut because you don't want to drop it down in there. And you'll just take the pulley off, just like that. All right. We went down through this hole to get back here because we were trying to get this one bolt. I don't know if you see it, I put a light on it, but that one bolt right there. I couldn't get down in there with the long socket because when I had the ratchet on there, it wouldn't back out enough. So I went ahead and got a mid-level 12, and this is going to allow me to put the ratchet on there and get it out. Sometimes you need a screwdriver to catch the edge of it to get it out of the way. There it is. Forgot to take this one out. That's the longest bolt. And we'll go ahead and take this out of the way. That's it, right there. Tensioner. Now we got the tensioner out of the way, which is was right here. Now we can get to this little cap. We'll take off these number 10s. Just gonna loosen it up. I don't want to drop it down in the engine. That would be horrible. We got to get that cleaned up. All this junk that was in there. All that buildup was in there. So you can see all this crap that was in here. And I'm just gonna do my best to kind of clean it out. If you notice, the screen was busted. Everything was actually getting behind the screen. Peel this. Yeah, the screen was busted. It's hard and brittle. I just basically took a little paper towel, cleaned it out real good. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on the new gasket before I seat it in here. But I'm just trying to clean it out. We'll go ahead and get the new gasket. So we got it cleaned out. To dab a little bit of new oil. Just rub it on here. We'll seat this in here. And then we'll put it on the car. I want to snug them down equally. We'll get in there with the ratchet and tighten it down Okay, you gotta go in here with the ratchet with a long socket to tighten it down. We'll come in here and get this number 12. And then we'll get this one. So I got a good teaching point here about putting this back on. When you put the pulley back on, you're gonna notice if you just put this piece and this piece in here, and this is on, and you put this back on, you're gonna be doing this and be like, what is going on? Well, this bolt fell down in the engine. It's sitting right there where this tensioner is. It's sitting right below. This goes on the back of here, just like that. That's how it catches for its thread. So when you put this on first by itself. That way you can get it. You want to be able to get a ratchet in here on this side, so you need this pulley out of the way to get to that ratchet to ratchet this one in. And then you're gonna have to come up behind here with your hand. After this is mounted, you got to come up behind here, and you would have to push this in by hand, then tighten the pulley down. So keep that in mind. Guys, I had enough fighting with this, keeping it on here. I just went ahead and took it off. It's used some channel locks. Took this little hose, pinched it, took it off, and just put it under here so I can stop fighting with it. Now I have plenty of room to work. Now we got paper down in there just to make sure we don't drop the screw. So we're just gonna tighten this with the 14. We will mount our power steering. We'll hook this back up. So we'll mount this back, and we'll get this back on. There we go. Got this back where it needs to be, and then we'll go ahead and put this back in place. It's our power steering, which we need to mount. Okay, one on top, one on bottom. We'll get the one on bottom in a second. Okay, we'll go ahead and I'm going to loosen that up just a little bit because we don't have the one on the bottom mounted. So we'll just loosen it up a tad bit. Okay, we'll snug it up with the regular ratchet. I'm going to come in here. I have this put on the pulley. I'll put this on like this. I'm going to use it as leverage. And then we're going to pull back. We're going to put our belt back on. Okay. Okay. Just like that. We just got to do the one in the back. We'll get the one on the back next. So the VTEC solenoid in the back. We're going to go in. It's back here. And you're going to see right here, you'll have this connector. This connector's got to come off. As we go in, we're going to go ahead and go in and show you the bolts. So down here are these 3 bolts. So these 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. These 3 bolts have to come off, okay? They're 10mm bolts. You don't have to worry about the one on the side. Start by disconnecting these. Push the tab in, pull it out. There's one. Push the tab in, pull up. I'm gonna try to get in here with this ratchet. There's 1, 2. I took it off. It's fairly clean. VTEC. It had some oil up here, but I think it's just shooting out. But we definitely got to get this filter out because it's flat. It's super flat. It's probably hard and brittle, just like the other one. It's really flat. So we're gonna take this one out. Got another Dorman. Here's the code. If you need the code, 917-176. Okay, so that's the one we need. So we're gonna take this one out. Just gonna kind of do what I can to get it out of there. All right. You really don't want to go in here with any type of parts cleaner and get up in there. For one, it's just you're gonna have parts cleaner circulating in your engine, and two, that parts cleaner will eat up this gasket. So I don't want any residue of parts cleaner tearing up the back of this gasket. So I'm gonna go in here, clean it out best you can. So we're just gonna dab a little oil, get it going, and we're gonna seat it in here. Just like so. This is a lot better. The other one was flat almost with that. Okay, we'll put it back on. 3 bolts are all the same size. If you were wondering, all 3 bolts are the same size, so you don't have to take them one at a time out to figure out which one's longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to seat the first one in. Feel for the holes so I can figure out where the orientation is. So when you get that first one in, just do it halfway, and then feel for that lower hole. That one started. You don't want to tighten it all the way up because you got to wiggle it around to find out where you need to be. But it doesn't take long to feel for them, and you want to snug them up evenly. Get the third one and feel for that last spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them down, kind of snug them first, little by little on each one, slowly. You over snug them, you over tighten them, then you're gonna pinch your gasket. You don't want to do that. This is the VTEC. The VTEC bolts are 8.7 foot-pounds multiplied by 12 to get the inch pounds if you're using a smaller torque wrench. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to 104. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4.4. That's what that says right there. So you are gonna need an extension. So just to double check. Yep. Hard to click. All right. Click. Hey guys, we're done with this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe. We're gonna drop the oil in this car before we start it up. I have a video on dropping the oil on this car. If you want, just look in the videos, you'll find it. I hope you liked it. See you on the next one.